Welcome back to the Coach's Insight. Have Chris Hollender, assistant coach at UMKC, also one of the leaders of Rising Coaches Elite. What's up, Chris?
What's going on?
Hanging out, man. Hanging out. I wanted to talk to you. You've been around this game a long time. I want to talk to you about adapting to different philosophies when switching coaching jobs. I know you've had a few different jobs in the business.
Yeah, this is I'm actually on my fourth school. I've been fortunate to be started my career at United States Military Academy for my college coach. Moved on to Evansville where I played and got to work for my assistant, Marty Simmons, who was an assistant when we played. From there, I went to Mississippi State in the SEC, and then a year ago came here with my college roommate, Kareem Richardson.
So how about that? So you went from motion offense with Jim Cruz, playing under him, coaching under him at West Point. Then you went back to Evansville at Marty Simmons. It's all the same offense. Went to Mississippi State with Rick Ray. And now you're in a completely different type of play under Kareem at UMKC. What's that been like?
I think, as we kind of talked about earlier, I think the one thing that people don't understand is how hard that can be if you've been part of a system for a long time. Obviously I was fortunate enough to work for in the business for guys that I know and that I've known for a long time. Yeah. Obviously Coach Cruz was my college coach. Marty Simmons was one of my college coaches. Rick Ray and is one of my best friends in the world. And Kareem Richardson was my college roommate. So all four of my bosses have been people that I've been very close to. And more importantly, the previous three guys, I had working knowledge of the way that they wanted to play, especially offensively and defensively, because, Rick comes from the Royce Waltman coaching tree, which Coach Cruz and Coach Waltman worked together at Indiana, and it all kind of intertwines. And Marty obviously played and worked for Coach, so the philosophies were very similar for those three guys. And then when you transition to work for Kareem, who did play for Coach Cruz, but also, his philosophies, especially defensively, with a high speed, up tempo, in your face, lots of pressure, you have to be able to adapt. And I think it's one of the most difficult things that's not talked about for assistant coaches when they change jobs. And we all change jobs, whether we want to or not. Mm-hmm. We've all changed jobs. And I think it's kind of a thing that, nobody really talks about. And you have to be adaptable. And, personality-wise, you have to be adaptable. You can go to a staff where everybody's kind of a positive person. You got to bring a more real side to it, or vice versa. If you got a lot of people that are, being negative, or not negative, but, they're a little bit tougher, then you have to bring a different side to it. So it doesn't necessarily have to be basketball. It can be personality-wise. But I think it's one thing that everybody, there's a lot of guys out there that think that, it's going to be easy to transition, and it's not that easy.
Well, is that something that you guys would talk about with Rising Coaches Elite? Because a lot of people have been asking, what is Rising Coaches Elite? How do I get involved? Can you touch on that?
Sure. Rising Coaches Elite is a professional development company for aspiring basketball coaches. We've been together for about 7 years now. Actually, I got into it about 5 years ago when I moved over to Mississippi State. Adam Gordon and Trey Meyer and Andy Farrell were all working at Clemson together about 7 years ago, and they decided they wanted to come up with this networking professional development company for aspiring coaches. And it started out as a kind of a platform for ops guys and staff guys that don't get a chance to go out and network and, get to be on the road and talk to guys and see guys and develop relationships that way. So they thought, let's do this for guys that don't get to go on the road. And the first thing they did was have a conference in Las Vegas, and they had 30 people the first year, and it was great. It was great. It was big time. They had a great lineup of speakers, and now it's kind of evolved. And with more sponsorship and greater attendance to our conference. Now, we basically, I think we had like 115 guys at our last conference in Indianapolis. We just transferred our conference over to Indy from Las Vegas this past year. So it's growing. What we do is we bring guys in for motivation, for inspiration, to give guys hope. To give guys a little encouragement as far as where they are in the profession and advice. And the one thing that's really cool about it is every time that we have, obviously our conference is kind of the pinnacle of every year for us. We have a good show in 3 days in Indianapolis, but The one thing that's really cool about the conference itself is when we ask coaches, guys that Larry Brown, Jamie Dixon, Jim Cruz, Chris Holtman at Butler, Matt Painter, these guys, without hesitation, without asking for any type of monetary, kickback, have dropped everything they're doing and come to speak about this because they've all kind of paid their dues. And, Will Wade a couple years ago spoke about why he got into coaching. And everybody's path is different. Everybody's, got different stuff. But Will Wade knew how to run camp at Clemson. And at the time, there was a lot of transition. He's the only guy who left on staff that knew how to run camp. So OP put him in the camp position, put him in the op spot. Boom, now he's the head coach of VCU.
Wow.
And it's just, those stories like that are what help guys in different parts of their career. We have head coaches attend. We have Division 1, 2, 3, JUCO, everybody, every level come. And it's really been a lot of fun.
I appreciate it. It's a growing organization. I think a lot of people are excited about it. Really appreciate what you're doing with it, and I appreciate you coming on this segment.